Welcome to the Let's Keep It Light podcast, and thanks for listening. In this episode, Ginger and Marcie continue the conversation about photobiomodulation.
So we're continuing the conversation of light therapy, red light therapy, infrared, blue, the different wavelengths. But specifically right now, we're going to focus on the red and infrared light therapy because of its effect on the human physiology. Now, we know that from the beginning of time, there's benefit of light. But as we're talking about photobiomodulation and its benefit, let's go over some of the practical, everyday, why someone would want to use light therapy. And later on in episodes, we're going to go into all the different kinds of devices, the types of devices, the different times you would want to use different wavelengths, etc. But for right now, just kind of in general, Marcie, go over what's the benefit of a person using red and infrared light therapy.
Right. I would like to re-say what photobiomodulation is.
You go ahead.
So in the terms that we use now for red light therapy, photobiomodulation is what the scientists discovered as the best way to describe what it does. So we look at photo, meaning light, bio, meaning within a living organism, and modulation, which is it changes. Modulation means to change or to affect. So light therapy, photobiomodulation, its language is it changes the body when you apply it, and it changes it for good. What I'd like to talk about at this moment is the benefit to us as we age, as we maybe have injuries, as maybe some of us have issues that we call diseases or disabilities.
Or conditions. And that seems to be showing up in the present time way more than it did 10 years ago. So we've seen a blooming of devices and discussions and desire to know more about it. So the main question I've always been getting is, well, what does it do when I put it on my body? And I'd like to share with you the benefit that the light does for the body. But we first have to talk about why you end up with pain. And that is an interesting statement because of the possibility that an injury causes pain. Getting older actually sometimes causes pain. And actually, there are indications where conditions just don't go away and they can cause pain. But where does this all pain come from? The body has a wonderful system, and it's the first line of defense. And what happens when you get older, hurt, or a condition, the body sets up an inflammatory process. Now, what does that mean? It means that it calls for white blood cells, nutrition, fluids, all kinds of things to help that particular condition issue in the body. That's great if it goes away after the issue is finished. But if it sticks around, we need to get rid of it. And that issue of getting rid of it is why we want to use light therapy. So the beauty of red and infrared is that it sets up the release of a molecule that's been blocking and causing the issue of pain. And once that molecule is released, the body can start using oxygen again to give energy. Now, why is that important? Because then the pain goes away and the tissue can be healed. And there you go. It's the issue that is so important and why we're using more and more and more photobiomodulation is because people are discovering it works.
And the name of that molecule is?
Nitric oxide.
So you're saying that the popularity of red and infrared light, and again, in future podcasts, we're going to talk about others, okay, other colors or wavelengths, but the main mechanism of action or the main thing that's occurring when we are using red light and infrared light therapy is the release of the nitric oxide inside the body. So it's already there, right? So how does that happen again?
It is a function of the wavelength of red and infrared that actually releases that molecule from the activity center that it's blocking. In other words, nitric oxide will block the use of oxygen to give you energy, and that causes the inflammation, and that causes the pain. When you put light on it, it kicks that nitric oxide out. The cell begins to use oxygen again, and you get your energy, and the tissue gets all kinds of good nutrition and oxygen, and it returns to normal function, which is without pain.
And so nitric oxide, the release of the nitric oxide is a good thing.
It's a good thing. Nitric oxide on its own is a whole nother area of wonder, and it's called a miracle molecule. But when it is functioning as a blockage, because we need to bring all this good stuff in to heal, it's time to get rid of it. We put the light on it. It goes about its business of being very good for us in other ways.
So we put light on the body, whether that's through standing in front of these big panels or putting pads on, or however we're getting that light therapy. And so what happens at that point?
When light is applied to the body and the body has begun the process of healing, and it's blocking and it's causing this inflammation, because that's a good thing, the first line of defense for healing. We need to stop that. Well, what we do is we add the red and the infrared, and it releases the blockage. The cells can then start using oxygen again to use their energy, to burn up the food for energy. The inflammation goes down, pain goes away, and the tissues can begin to function as normal.
So let's talk a little bit more about pain, because you and I both know that there are many conditions involving pain. And for so much of humanity, when we have pain, chronic or acute pain in our body or in our life, it can hijack your whole life. So there's some examples of...
Exactly. So the popularity of red light therapy has everything to do with the fact that it's non-invasive and it is easy to use, and there are no side effects, and we can do this for just about anything, any condition that is causing us trouble and causing us pain. So let me just say that if you have pain, you have the blockage of using oxygen, and how to undo that blockage, which causes inflammation, which causes pain, is that you add red or infrared light. And you do so, you are able then to let the cells do what they're supposed to be doing in the first place. The benefits that people are saying and the popularity of red light therapy, photobiomodulation now, has everything to do with its function and its effectiveness. But we can go through and say, well, what are some of the conditions that are most affected by red light therapy and photobiomodulation? Well, neuropathies have been shown to be very, very helped by photobiomodulation. We have more and more information on cognitive issues for transcranial, put the light on the head. We have issues with chronic pain where fibromyalgia is an issue, and sometimes it just doesn't want to go away. We've had people who've had success with it. There are many, many conditions and issues related to pain that photobiomodulation can make a big difference in people's lives. And that's why we're talking about it today.
Right. And in the past, the terminology wasn't photobiomodulation. It was LLLT, so low-level light therapy, but it's the same thing, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so say just a little bit more about the whole pain issue.
Certainly. We perceive pain a couple of different ways. If it hurts today because you stumped your foot, your toe, your hand, we call that acute pain.
Well, that's kind of ugly pain to me.
Well, it happens very fast. Right, you know when it happened. And it's definitely a different type of pain than a pain that is forever. It feels like forever, will not go away. It's called chronic pain. And one of the things that we'd like to talk about in the future is the fact that some pain is also considered to be a neurological issue. It's considered to be a brain problem, not just a physical problem, and that's chronic pain. And we'll talk about how to use light therapy in that kind of situation. The situation with acute pain is you put it where it hurts. There are different ways of using it, but one of the values of this technology is that it has very, very easy ways of adjusting it to the situation that we're in.
So in future conversations, we're going to go deeper into many, many other areas, and we'll talk about, again, and I mentioned this, all the different types of light therapy devices that we have used, from bars, panels, torches, microlights, etc., and when you might use the different ones for different conditions or issues. But overall, if we think about the light in light therapy and low-level light therapy, photobiomodulation, one thing that we don't get told when we were born, at least I wasn't told this, is, hey, listen, the game in life is get to the light and stay there, right? So and I just love this when I'm working with my clients, that they seem to really get that. Like, they may have been coming in because they had pain and they wanted some help with certain pain issue or a circulatory issue, because how great is light therapy for increased circulation? And right. And if we increase the circulation to any organ or system of the body, we're going to improve that function. Right. So they might have come in for that. That might have been the reason that they originally came in. But when we start to explain all the other benefits, which again, we're going to go into in future podcasts, beyond just the relief of the physical pain, and we talk about, well, what is that other pain? Because there's emotional pain, social pain, mental pain, spiritual pain, all of that, which is, we have a benefit from being in the light.
And right? I've had clients that come for pain, experience the therapy, and have this look on their face, and they've asked me, do you know what you're doing?
No, I hope so.
But what they are really saying is they received way more than they thought they were coming in for. Right. And do I really know that? And I have to say, as a therapist, that part of the gift of the job I have as a therapist is the benefits I see in my clients, and how deep it is for some, and how it grows in them as they use light for all those areas of their life that you just spoken about. We are not single people with one issue. We may have pain in our foot, but we also have the capacity to grow and to be blessed by the light for all of our health issues, mental, physical, spiritual. It's a wholeness gift. And so I'm talking about light as something that has affected me, but also so many of the people that I've worked with.
Yeah, so just a couple of things with that. In my clinic, people often, normally they're coming in for weight loss or body contouring if they're doing a particular type of light therapy that we do, as you know. And it is so common for us that they come in for that originally, but they keep coming back for all the other benefits. And the benefits, as you're saying, that they don't feel so depressed anymore. They have energy. They have lightened up, quite literally lightened up. Why? Because we're literally flooding the energy field, and not just the physiology, not just the physical form, but we're literally flooding their entire energy field. And so things that are in the denser, slower, darker vibrations, which we're going to go into in depth in another couple of the podcasts about the whole conversation with how this affects the human energy field and the aura and all of that. But again and again, for both of us, and I know all of our practitioner friends will tell us the same story. People come back again and again, or want to, get a system themselves. And we're not, promoting any one brand. We want to educate people on the benefits of photobiomodulation. But, for our personal experience, that they come back again and again, because we're way more than our physical form. We have all these other bodies attached: emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, social, blah, blah, blah. And all of that's benefiting from the light. And so when a lot of times our physical pain is associated with our emotional pain, right?
It is a wholeness gift, a gift for wholeness and a gift for health in all aspects of our lives. And therefore, I believe that the questions that we have about how it works and what it does, we'll go into. But the gift of light is definitely something, if you're listening to us, it's definitely something to consider for your health and wellness.
And just riding over here in our Uber, it really wasn't an Uber because we're out in the country and they don't call it an Uber here, but to come to do this recording with you, for half of the drive here, once our driver asked us, well, what are you doing here? And we said, well, we're going to record these podcasts. And she started talking about her pain immediately and about the fact that she has lymphedema. So, could this help lymphedema? But how that pain has, in some ways, really affected her life a lot. And so, and that she's heard a lot about light therapy and wants to know more. So we're going to just keep on going, and we'll want you to send in your questions, because we've got a lot planned, and we're going to bring in some other amazing experts.
That's exactly right.
Marcie Denton and Dr. Ginger Bowler are certified light therapy instructors and co-founders of the Light and Energy Training Seminar Certification Program. You can send us an email with your questions and comments to podcast@letskeepitlight.com, and be sure to visit us on Facebook and Instagram. This episode was engineered and mixed by Dr. Decibel Productions. I'm Sarah Weston. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of Let's Keep It Light.